Wells, and welcome to another episode of eBay the Right Way. This is episode number 24, and today's date is September 1st, 2021. And I have a special guest this week that you all may know from the eBay supersize sales videos and thread on my Facebook group. Lynn Merritt is going to share with us her eBay backstory and a very interesting side hobby that she does in addition to eBay that definitely complements her eBay business. So let's get into the interview.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn, and I'm from Stonington, Connecticut, which is in southeastern Connecticut, down by the ocean. And I was born and raised in Mystic, Connecticut. Some of you may have heard of that before. It's a well-known town. There was an old movie called Mystic Pizza.
I love that movie.
Julia Roberts starred in many years ago. And, right. Yeah, I loved it too. And many scenes were shot around the area and everything like that. So that you have an idea where I am from.
So wait, is Mystic Pizza a real place, or was that made up for the movie?
It's actually a real place.
Ah.
Yeah. Although I don't know if the secret's in the sauce, but however.
Well, then I'm going to put that on my bucket list to come visit if it's a real place, because that was a fun place.
Yeah, people take their picture in front of the sign all the time.
Ah.
So it's kind of fun. Okay, so professionally, I am trained in psychiatric social work. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I did psychiatric evaluations in ERs prior to starting another career, which was 31 years ago, and that was Mystical Horizons, which is a new age bookstore located in East Lyme, Connecticut. We used to be for 28 years in Old Mystic, Connecticut. And we have all kinds of astrology and tarot and jewelry, and it's a gift store as well as a bookstore. And we do all kinds of things. And throughout the 31 years, I've taken people on vacations to Sedona, Arizona, Mount Shasta, on cruises, psychic cruises, and things like that. There is a psychic cruise coming up where I'll be a presenter that's going to the Mayan ruins. So that's kind of interesting too. And that will be in the spring of 2022. So in a nutshell, I've done a lot of different work. I've been entrepreneurial prior to my psychiatric social work career and Mystical Horizons. I also owned a taxi company. So I've been busy a lot.
You're multifaceted.
Not to mention, of course, not to mention eBay. I love it.
Okay, and speaking of your cruise, wow, going down to the Mayan ruins, that's a very spiritual place.
Yes, it is. And there's a great group of people that are putting on this cruise, and it should be really interesting. It's 6 days of conferences and workshops and a lot of fun.
Wow, that's something to look forward to after the cold winter.
Right.
Okay. Well, one thing I noticed that you post a lot of on your sales are metaphysical products and books. So that's your specialized knowledge. So are these things you've already had, or are you finding them out in the wild?
A lot of the things are things I already had and just downsizing. After 31 years of being in the industry, you will accumulate a lot of things, especially a lot of freebies going to conferences and new age trade shows and things like that. Also just things that I've collected over the years. So yeah, I will definitely go into my stash to sell things that come up for pretty good money.
Well, and there is one, I guess, author we can call her, that her stuff has become very valuable. Do we want to tell the story of Doreen Virtue?
Well, we can tell the story of Doreen Virtue. It's basically, in a nutshell, she was a top author for Hay House, and she came out with many books and many oracle cards and things like that. Currently now, they are out of print and very hard to find because she had a change in direction that she was going in life. She had a big change in her spirituality, which is fine. Everybody's allowed to do what they want to do with their own spiritual beliefs and thoughts and lifestyle. And so a lot of her items are very sought after because you just can't get them anymore.
Right. And I went to 2 or 3 Hay House conventions in the early 2000s up to maybe 2012. They had one in Atlanta, so that one was real easy. But, Wayne Dyer and Cheryl Richardson and that whole group of Hay House people. And I always went to Doreen's sessions because I just loved her and I loved her work. And I have some of her card decks and books, and I find them very healing and positive, and I love her work. So that flip in her I guess belief system. I mean, she's in her 60s, isn't she?
She is. She's probably in her early 60s. She's actually a friend of mine. I've hosted 2 large conferences for her. Lovely lady, really nice friend, very good person. I can't say enough nice things about her. In her heyday, excellent psychic and teacher and inspirational person. So I can't say enough nice things about Doreen. There's people out there that don't say nice things, but I really do like her, and I respect her choice to change.
Oh, absolutely. I just noticed that her publications, her card decks, her books, all of that, maybe pre 2015, are very sought after. So those are the
yes, they really are.
Kind of things like if people are looking through the books and the office supplies, you might see the card decks.
I would definitely pick them up. Yeah. Any of her books.
And her son did some work too.
Her son did some work. Her ex-husband, she got into Hay House, did some work. Even her accountant did some work. And she actually likes to, well, I don't know about today, but in the past, she actually likes to help people that she likes. I remember being on stage with her, and she really plugged my psychic work, and we joked around saying that we were virtue and merit on stage, and that was kind of cute. But she was so kind to
virtue and merit. That's great.
That's really great of her to do that, and she did that for a lot of people that she knew and she liked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just a tip for people out there looking for things to flip, that, this happens when, these famous people stop producing their work. And she was married to, he was a Hay House guy too. What was his name?
His name was Stephen Farmer.
Right. Yes.
His name is Stephen Farmer, I should say. Right.
Right. Okay. So the 2 of them did a lot of that inspirational healing kind of work. So anyway, that's something I've been seeing popping up. You sold a book recently. Was it a tarot book? Tell us about some of the things you've sold recently that are kind of off the beaten path. Like it's not, a sweater or a pair of shoes. It's these very niche specific books from your collection.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've sold some tarot card decks, old ones, $195. I have sold some books. Trying to think of everything. Let's see. A lot of Oracle, a $50 used Oracle Doreen Virtue deck went out just recently. But one of the cooler things that I had was that vintage 60s mod red and animal print cape.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you put that in featured that in one of your videos. That was fun. Another thing that I do is metal detecting. I'm pretty deep into it. And I was up in Vermont and it was snowing. So we didn't go out that day. So let's go thrifting. And
That's a good backup.
that's another treasure hunt right there. And this beautiful cape was in an antique mall, and it was unbelievable. The tags were still on it from like the 1960s department store. So this was
Did it have a fur collar?
It did. It had an animal.
Okay. Then I'm remembering that. Yeah.
It almost looked like a queen's cape, that Queen Elizabeth would wear or something.
Yeah, great costume piece or cosplay or drama. Do you know anything about who bought it? Did you look at that or ask them?
I didn't. I did know that it did go out to California. Oh gosh, I forgot the name now, but it near like Hollywood and all that. So who knows? But I could see Miss Maisel wearing it.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So that was really fun. Let's see. Oh, remember my friend gave me those Jeannie McQueenie outfits, and they both
yes.
That was a while ago. Those Lynn Handy Santas. Those were picked up at Goodwill for $4.99, and they all went out for over $100. That was a while ago. Let's see. I did some Pyrex for 95, so that was just under the thing. But there's so many things out there, and I want to thank you, Suzanne, because many years ago I would mostly just sell Hot Wheels because I really liked them and vintage toys. And then getting to know you and being a member of your premium content, which is awesome, I opened up the gates to selling on eBay on things that I thought I would never sell. Oh, here's another plush. I never thought in a million years I would sell plush. However, I found a Lisa Frank 1990s marquee unicorn, and that went for $190, I believe.
Oh, was that recently?
A few months ago, and that was 25 cents that I paid for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's, I wouldn't say a new niche for me, but that's something I've really started focusing on because there are just so many that could be valuable. And that's one of the first things to go when they do the house clean outs, like the kids going off to college or whatever, or they just get too many toys.
Lisa Frank, big.
Yeah, that was huge in the late 90s, I guess. My daughter had some Lisa Frank notebooks and stuff for school. And of course, now they're all going back she's just at the tail end of millennials. Going back to if you had it in school in the 90s and 2000s, then it's probably valuable. How does that make you feel?
And you can find the Lisa Frank just the other day. When was it? I think August 7th. I was going actually to a business buying show, and I stopped at my favorite Savers way up in Massachusetts, and I found a 1988 Lisa Frank picture photo book. So you can find them out there.
Yeah, it's out there. It's just you got to dig and look and be patient. It's funny, when I first started teaching people how to sell, I was doing all these coaching calls, like 8 hours a day, and it was. Wow. Yeah, that's when after years of that, I'm like, I just need to record all this stuff and just let people go through the videos, because I was saying a lot of the same thing over and over. But people who were new to this or wanting to retire or already retired and wanting to learn this, they would say things like, wait, you look at everything in the thrift store? And I'm like, yeah, how else are you going to find stuff? It's not, you don't just go through and look at everything on top. you gotta look and you gotta be diligent. And this business isn't for everybody. And I hear people all the time, other resellers that are like, the husband will say, okay, honey, we've been in here 20 minutes now. You need to pick something and let's go. And she's like, but I haven't looked at everything yet. And their spouse or whoever they're with is like, so like, they're not into it at all. So you either got to have a partner or, somebody with you that gets it and likes to look, or you just got to go by yourself.
Right. And I'll do both, that kind of thing. I also had I like art pieces as well. And I've had that vase. I know you featured that one, and artist's vase. I don't know who it was.
It was just a very specific one.
Yeah, it was looked like a starry night almost, and it was beautiful. And I uppaid for it $68. However, I sold it for I believe it was like $275.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I can't remember if it's that much. Maybe something 70, maybe 175. I can't remember. But I definitely made over $100 on return of investment, and it's great. Now, another thing that I'd like to mention that some people may like to hear is sometimes you need to go with your gut or your hunch or your intuition on something. Definitely look things up, but before you do that, if you have a hunch about something, then you should, take a look at it and then do your research.
Well, and this is one business where your age really benefits you, because the older you are, the more decades you've lived through, and the more different types of design and fashion and all that stuff, you've seen, and like you can recognize it. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I mean, what vintage Fisher Price is. You can look at that and tell the difference from the new to that. Or, you remember, oh, my mom had one of these, or, oh, we had that blanket in our family room. And, you remember. So I saw some melamine lunch trays at Goodwill yesterday. And these two ladies were parked their buggies and they were chatting and they were right in the way. And I was like, oh, I'll just come back and look at them. And then I forgot. But, the lunch trays we used to have at school, with the little squares and circles and people buy those. It's just, you sometimes you laugh, you're like, oh God, we had that thing and I hated it. Yeah. It was ugly. Everything in the 80s was brown, or yellow.
And what cracks me up is some of the things that we laughed at just a little while ago are hot now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And on that 70s show, Kelso wears that striped vest. I had a jacket like that, and I have pictures of me wearing it in the 80s. And I'm like, oh, you can't save everything, No. Another big thing is these cassette tape holders and suitcases and shelves that you put on the wall with all the slots. That's a thing now. And it's like, whoever would have dreamed anybody would want to go back to that. But
I know. And before I knew it, I had one here at the house that I busted up to go into the recycling.
Oh,
I had no clue.
That happens to everybody. Every single reseller I've ever talked to was like, oh, I could kick myself for throwing away those, Tupperware things, one of the first Tupperware thing, or those old Avon things. Not all Avon is worth money, but certain things are. And then some
of the jewelry, the Avon jewelry is sought after right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and it changes. It might not have been sought after 5 years ago, but all of a sudden it just becomes popular.
Right. I think you featured a little Avon whistle that I had found and sold for, I don't know, I think it was like $25, but hey,
but still, I mean, you're all over the board.
I like being all over the board. I mean, I've even sold vacuum cleaner bags, which is crazy. I would never have done that.
No, I look at those too, because if it's a discontinued model and people want to
Yeah,
keep using it, they got to find the bag somewhere. So
yeah,
like filters, vacuum
yep.
filters, vacuum bags, the old Hoover canister. And um, God, I remember my mom using that Hoover canister thing. You got to drag it behind you and you got the hose, and
Yeah,
like the most cumbersome, inefficient cleaning tool ever. But
right.
some people are still using it, so they got to get the bag somewhere.
Yes, they have to, and people are looking for those kind of things. It's kind of funny what people will pay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why don't you could buy a new vacuum for what you're paying for the bags, but they
Yeah,
don't.
no,
So
they really,
let's go back to your metal detecting. I want to
okay,
ask some questions about that. So yeah,
okay.
the inspiration for this video was really selfish because I just want to ask you some things.
Oh, that's fine.
So just kind of tell us about how you do it, what you do, what kind of things you found. And I would
Okay, cool.
imagine up in New England is prime territory for that.
It is.
Revolutionary War stuff buried in the ground and just all
Yes.
kinds of things.
Even pre-Revolutionary War is found up through there. I go up to New Hampshire quite a bit, and I've got friends up there that I go to a competition there. I go around the country doing metal detecting competitions, and up in New Hampshire, I found some really great things. I found pre-Revolutionary War, I think one of my oldest coins is 1771 King George coin. I found 1600s buckles up there.
So that would be like colonial times.
Colonial things. Yeah, I found quite a few colonial
Wow.
coins. Now, I found a Civil War buckle at the middle part of a round buckle. And then, no, wait, I found the outer ring of a wreath buckle. And this man, he found the inner part. And
Ah.
we found these things a year apart. And so my guide that I go out with up there, he brokered a deal where the guy gave me the middle part. So I have the whole buckle right now. So that was kind of a fun thing. And yeah, so that was cute. And I'm also a beach hunter because I live about, I don't know, 10 minutes from the beach.
Oh man, really? I'm gonna have to book
Yeah,
a trip up there.
yeah.
You got a lot of fun
So
things going on.
yeah, so I like to find the gold jewelry after a storm. So I did go out on the Monday after the storm that we had up here, and I found a little 10K gold ring with some diamonds in it, and another piece of a gold ring. And after storms, sometimes you can find so much more. It was a little sanded in, but
So is that
uh,
because the weather's churning everything up from the bottom?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And so that's a lot of fun too. I've been detecting in the Caribbean, beach detecting, and in the underwater detecting there. And like we talked about before we started recording, I'm going to England in a couple weeks and to look for medieval artifacts out there. So that's going to be
Wow.
that's a big adventure going to the English countryside.
And have you done that before?
I have not. This is a new. This
Good
is a
for
new.
you.
Yeah, right.
Doing something new and different and probably that you wanted to do a long time.
I have. I really. It was supposed to happen last year, but of course, COVID
Mhm.
happened, and so they opened everything up, and we all got together. And I'm going with two other girls, and we're leaving all the families behind, and we're all
Yay.
Yeah, we're all detectorists. We're going to go out for a week to just look around and sightsee, and then we're going to meet some men that are on the tour as well. And we booked a huge manor house, and we can even detect the grounds there and everything. And we will be brought out by guides to the countryside because you have to have permission and things like that. So it will be from detecting from dawn until dusk. So we're into it.
I mean, it's kind of like, a slot machine. You just keep going and going until you hit something.
Yeah. The only thing is you don't have to put in any money.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And
Your cost of your goods.
last year when I went to the beach with my friend, I mean, we sat on the beach a lot because it was COVID and glad to be outside. And
Yeah.
so we saw, men detecting, mostly men, first thing in the morning and then later in the evening. And, I was very curious about how often they find anything and what they find. And, I started talking with one of them, and the vibe I got was it was kind of something to do to get away from his wife. Like to go out on the beach all day. Like, okay, honey, I'm going out for 2 hours. See you later. And, it seemed like a very meditative, peaceful kind of thing to do at the beach. Just, and if you find something great, and if you don't, that's okay. There's always another chance. But, I got interested in it, and I looked into, buying a detector and all that. And you have to learn how to do all that. It's not just something you jump out there and do. And I was very interested in the fact that, like, when people are sitting on the beach and then they go in the water, and if the water's cold, it makes your hands shrink and then your rings fall off and all. You're like, how this happens? Why do so many people lose jewelry at the beach? Well, that's part of it, is the cold water. So is that mostly what you find on the beach is jewelry?
Yeah, I find, when I'm lucky, I find jewelry. You don't find it every single time. And you find a lot of modern coins at the beach, unless the storms have kicked up older coins. But yeah, it's mostly modern jewelry.
What's the most valuable thing you've ever found detecting on the beach?
Well, I did find a very large 14 karat gold men's ring with 5 large diamonds.
Wow.
So I think probably my best find.
And I've seen things on Facebook like, oh, this ring was found on the beach, so and so here, and like they try to find the owner. Have you ever done anything like that?
Oh, many times I've found the owners. And also when people came up to me and say, I've lost my ring, can you help me? And
because they see you with the metal detector.
Yeah. So I've done that quite a bit too. Yeah.
That's nice of you. Now, not everybody would just, try to find the rightful owner. They just sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't sell anything. I kind of display it all.
Okay. So yeah, I had a question about how you date these things you're finding, like, oh, it's, pre-Revolutionary War. Is there an organization that dates these things for you?
Well, I have a lot of friends that have a lot of information. They've been doing it for years and they can be helpful. There's also on Facebook, there's an ID Me site that you can put up things that you have found metal detecting, and a lot of knowledgeable people will let you know what they think it is.
Oh, that's great. Kind of like that What Is It group where you just picture
I think
up.
so. Yeah. I mean, one time I found a Ford hubcap, but it was from a Model T.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where do you display your collection? Is that just in your home?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just have it on shelves, but I have everything in display cases and things like that. When people come over, instead of showing them my pictures from my vacation, I'll show them my phone.
It's like an eBay seller. Look, want to see my inventory?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, in the book Gone with the Wind, there's they talk about burying their valuables. And I mean, that's not just a Southern thing. That's anybody back in the day, because, that's a great way to hide something, is bury it. But then, the people died or they forgot where they buried it. And I mean, there's no telling how much stuff is still buried that is just valuable and interesting and, history.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping to find a hoard in England. So that would be great.
To find a what?
A hoard that was buried.
Oh, like somebody's treasures. Oh, like,
yeah. Like,
hey, somebody's got to find it at some point.
That's right.
How deep does the metal detector detect?
Well, on an average, I think it can go down around 8 inches, and sometimes maybe under rainy conditions, which conducts the metal a little better, up to 12 inches. but that's rare. I'd say 6 to 8 is the deepest.
So if somebody buried their stuff kind of deep, you're not going to be able to detect that.
Most likely not. Not like if it's a couple feet down or something. No,
Yeah,
not
but then
that.
I guess over time, rain and erosion, it brings it closer to the surface eventually.
Yeah, that could be true.
Oh, that's just interesting to me.
Mhm. Oh yeah, really fun. It's all part of to bring this into eBay. It's really all part of it's all part of the hunt. We go out there when we're sourcing, and it's a treasure hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just anything is possible. I love
Yes,
those situations where it's just anything could happen.
right. Yeah. And I remember years and years ago, my sister bought a little purse at a yard sale for, I think, a dime, and there was like $23 in it.
Uh-huh.
That was fun.
Like I've put out there, I'm going to find something that has like $1,000 in it, like in a
Yeah.
pocket or in a purse. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes they miss these pockets. Our Goodwills are pretty good about going through the wallets and the handbags, but
Mhm.
there's always these hidden pockets in, jackets where it'll be on the inside and it'll be really small. And
Yeah. Sure.
I'm waiting for that, cash bonus item where it's just, you don't even find it till you get home. What's this lump in here? Oh my God, it's money.
Yeah.
I found
I know.
$100 in a book one time. It was 250s. And that was
Oh,
back
cool.
when I was selling books, like a lot of books. And I always flipped through them because there was, there'd be like a gum wrapper as the bookmark. And I tried to get the trash out of them. And
Yeah.
it was a brand new book. The spine was not even cracked. And there's two $50 bills in the middle of it. And like a happy birthday little note. So somebody got that gift for their birthday. They didn't read it and they just donated it. And I come along and there's my cash bonus. So there's the lesson there is if you get a book from somebody as a gift, make sure you look through it before you donate it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then I had a friend who went to a thrift store I go to all the time, and she bought a purse just for herself. It was like Liz Claiborne. It wasn't even a high end thing. And she was cleaning it out and she found a diamond ring, and she took it, and it was took it to an appraiser, and it was worth $3,000.
Yeah, that's just
She
amazing.
paid like $3 for the purse. So it's treasure hunting on every level.
Yes, it is. I love it all.
I know. And it's like it's in your DNA because you're just what a natural transition to include eBay after you've been doing this metal detecting for years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I also have knowledge of metal detecting equipment, and I've sold some of that too. So people should look out there for different metal detectors or metal detecting accessories that can sell for really good money as well. For example, aftermarket coils that go on the bottom of the metal detector, or even headphones. There's a lot of metal detecting equipment that you can find at yard sales, thrift stores, Goodwill, for example, that perhaps has a good value in them as well.
Well, when I was interested in it last year, I was like, I want to get into that. I want to see how that works because I live in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I could go up in there and just, there's no telling. I live near Kennesaw Mountain where there were a lot of, Civil War battles and all that kind of stuff around me. And I was like, this is really fascinating. I'd love to do this. You get to be outside and, it's sort of a peaceful, meditative thing.
It is.
But I started looking at all the equipment and I was just like a little overwhelmed with, the range of like, you can get the super cheapo one just to start. And then it goes up to, hundreds of dollars for all these attachments, and what kind of headphones do you need? And what kind of this and and I was like, yeah, this is too complicated. I just need to find somebody who already knows how to do it and go with them.
There you go. So
I need to piggyback on somebody else.
There you go. You can come up here and go with me because I've got plenty of gear.
Yeah, well, I had a friend that was into it, and he's like, "Oh, you can use mine." And I was like, "No, I think I just want to go with somebody,
Yeah.
and learn how to do it." So,
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely.
fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And it's fun because then you have to research what you find.
So, have you found like, bullets, ammunition, stuff like that?
Oh, plenty of bullets. Down in Tampa one time, I found a full World War II bullet. The whole thing was intact. And I found some Civil War bullets. Not a lot up here, but my friends in Virginia find a lot.
Both used and unused? Like if it had been shot and it's used, just a piece of it?
Some of them have been used and shot and hit something. Some are full.
Mhm.
I also have found quite a few musket balls too. I forgot to say that. That's kind of a bullet too. Up in New Hampshire, Vermont, even around here at my cousin's farm, I found some musket balls. So that was fun.
Well, that is just interesting. And listeners, this podcast has kind of gone a little deep into metal detecting. So.
Sorry, people.
But that's part of Lynn, so we're going to include that.
Yeah, hey, maybe it will inspire some people to get out and have some fun.
Yeah, it is interesting. So, how many items do you have listed in your eBay store, approximately?
I think probably around 330 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the amount that you want to stick with? It's manageable for you?
That's pretty manageable. I could do more though. I could do more. Yeah.
And how much would you say your business produces a month? If you want to share that.
According to that, I would say, according to that eBay 3-month thing, I would say about 1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take. It's been a little slow, but lots of people have said that.
Yeah, but you've got your metaphysical store, you've got your taxi business.
Oh, I don't have that anymore. That was
you don't have that anymore. Okay.
That was the beginning of my entrepreneurial life.
Okay. So just, you've got the store and then your eBay store.
Yeah.
Your metal detecting hobby.
Yes.
And you're very busy. So
I'm really super duper busy. I like being busy. The eBay is kind of a passion and it's fun. And of course, I'm a part-timer, but it's sort of setting myself up in a way, and other people may like this too, that once I do retire, or, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't have to. I like what I do. I would, I'd have this other thing to just hop right into. So that's nice as well.
Oh, that's a very common situation. In fact, a lot of people that come to the premium library, the online school, are, they're within 2 years of retiring. And it's a lot of teachers and healthcare workers and law enforcement that are, waiting for their pension or their retirement. Like they cannot just quit right now.
Right.
So they're getting eBay set up along the side so that when it is time, they can just transition into this business that's already established and going. And it's just so convenient. My audience is primarily between the ages of probably about 50 to 70. Which is interesting because they're all older than me. A lot of them are, not all of them, but the largest percentage. And so when people ask me, well, what are you going to do when you retire? And it's like this, I'm teaching people who are 20 years older than me and retired how to make money during their retirement. So, I'm good. This is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. And the other cool thing is that, eBay is really paying for my England trip.
Right.
So I do use eBay a lot to pay for my travel.
And you should. I
So
mean, you should
that's
you
kind of
should have
fun
fun
too.
when we get
And
older.
the other thing is, yeah, yes. So the other thing is that during the lockdown and COVID, I didn't go to work for about 4 months. I just worked on the eBay. I really learned about it more and decided to have a store and just up the game while I had all that time.
Were you able to go thrifting, or
No.
everything was closed?
Yes.
It's
Everything
very
was closed.
interesting depending on geographic locations, because here in Georgia, Goodwill closed, but only for 6 weeks. But other thrift stores did not. They just required a mask. And so I didn't admit this at the time because I didn't want to be shamed for going out in public. But I followed the business's protocol, and went out and got my stuff, and I just kept going. And I didn't broadcast that because nobody knew anything about COVID at the time. And I did see somebody I knew, like, that watches my YouTube, and she's like, "Oh, you're the eBay lady. I can't believe you're in here." And I'm like, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah, all non-essential businesses were closed in Connecticut during that time frame.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I just used the time wisely.
Yeah, you probably had a stockpile of things to work on anyway.
Oh, yeah, very easy.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have covered a lot of ground on this, and get it, ground, metal detecting.
Yeah, that's funny.
I always have to throw a really cheesy pun in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Any words of wisdom to the listeners?
Words of wisdom to the listeners. I think I mentioned it before, and I kind of like this, that go with your intuition, go with your gut on things. If you think something could be really good, look into that, do your research, and also open up your horizons with your selling. Don't just, some people like to sell, say, just sneakers, and that's fine. I mean, that's great, but I found that I've made a lot more money by opening up my doorways to different items to sell.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing for some people to grasp is they like to stay in their comfort zone with what they know.
Yeah.
They'll go in the thrift store, they'll look at the dishes and the kitchen stuff, and then they're like so overwhelmed by these other categories, they don't even consider it. And
Right.
you could be walking past something literally within arm's length that you could sell for $100. And it's not,
yeah.
It's not where you go, it's what you know.
Right. And on some of the Money Making Mondays, if you search that and you go through all these things that people have, and your new $100 sale thread, that can open up your horizons too. For example, after the lockdown, I went to the Goodwill, it opened, and they had a whole bag full of those Little List Pet Shop. And I had seen when a man had sold those. I paid $3.99, and I think I made $108. Didn't know about it. Also, needlepoint type things. I can't even thread a needle. However, I found this needlepoint thing that went to Russia for $110. So, and that was just one of those things. Oh, maybe I can make $20. And I got home, I looked at the comps, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is over $100. So yeah, open up your horizons. Take a chance on different things.
Well, and to that point, a lot of people are like, well, what if it doesn't sell and I've spent $3 on it? And I'm like, it's $3.
Right.
You would spend more than that going to the drive-through at Wendy's. It's $3.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll buy stuff just to bring it home and research it so I can, like, remote controls. That's the thing I'm into now.
Yeah.
After talking to Casey last week is like,
there you go.
yeah. So there was I found one and there were several variations of it. And one was like the top would swing open and there would be all these extra buttons underneath. And I couldn't figure out how to get it open. And I'm like, I'm not going to stand here in the store and Google this and try to figure this out right here. It was $1. So I just bought it, brought it home, figured it out. It was not a high dollar one. You know, you can either just recycle it or redonate it, but that's your tuition for learning is sometimes you just have to buy it and research it. And then you learn that is not a great thing to sell and you won't have to think about it. You already know for next time when you see it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Who knew that plush would sell like it does?
I know that's.
I just thought old stuffed animals. Who wants that? But wow, a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's amazing. I sold one a few weeks ago for over $200.
That's great.
It was a small, maybe 4-inch thing, and it was the very last thing. Like I had looked through all the plush. It was on the bottom, shoved back in a corner. Just over time, it got pushed back and pushed back. And it had been in the store for 3 weeks. So I know other people saw it. And I just
that's
knew
the
what
same
it
with
was.
my Lisa Frank Mark. Yeah,
I
same
knew what
thing.
it was. So, and for $1, and then it sold literally within 12 hours for $225.
That's just awesome.
So that hooked me. I'm like, yeah, I'm spending 30 minutes. I'm looking through every single one.
That's right. That's right. I know. So crazy.
Yeah. Well, I've taken up enough of your time today. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom in many different areas.
Well, thanks for having me. And yeah, everybody get out and metal detect. If you want to get into it, just jump into it because it is fun.
Well, and Lynn is frequently on the Facebook group and she posts her sales. So it's Lynn, MERRITT.
Yes.
Okay, 2 R's and 2 T's. Okay,
right.
So you can find her there if you want to ask her any deep delving questions into the metal detecting world. Okay, well, thanks so much for coming and we will see you on the group.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed that. It was delightful chatting with Lynn about her eBay business. So that wraps up another episode. Thanks for tuning in, and you can find me, Suzanne A. Wells, on Facebook and YouTube under the same name. Have a profitable and productive day on eBay. Talk to you next week. Bye.